Join Jason's cabinet experience, where culture, creativity, and connection come alive with Syed.
I'm a retired U.S. Army officer and CEO founder of Kevin's HR. At Kevin's HR, we provide HR to companies with 49 or fewer people by combining an AI tech platform with an HR business partner. The Jason Cabinet experience is brought to you by BreezeDocs. BreezeDocs is the leading RFP response platform for small and medium-sized businesses. Mention the Jason Cabinet experience and receive 3 months free usage of BreezeDocs and free onboarding and data migration services for any subscription. To learn more, check out the QR code on the screen. Also, Cavids HR is hosting an event for Seattle Tech Week called Cavids HR Seattle's Got Tech. It will be 10 tech startups doing a demo of what they're building, followed by a keynote. Go to the QR code on the screen to apply. Our guest today is Syed. Syed, thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me. Vic.
Let's go up this a little bit more.
Well, my background is in filmmaking.
Yeah.
Jason, I came to US in 2015, specifically to Tacoma from India. My background, is also in international affairs, so I bring those two experiences together, and always been an attempt to work at that intersection, and I have succeeded only in the last 14 or 15
Yes.
months. Because for the most part, I was in international education and international affairs, helping American colleges and universities to develop international programs and help them internationalize their program. But in the last 14, 15 months, I've been working in the creative economy, where education is a big part, but creative economy is really very interesting here in Washington State. 10% of our GDP is creative economy, which is the highest in the country. And I want to build that. I want to leverage that, especially for our city, Tacoma.
So we're gonna do a deep dive of everything you're doing, but first, how like you're doing a lot, right? We're talking about, but how do you take care of yourself, right? Like either physically, or mentally. Like how do you make sure that you're the best possible version of yourself to do all the stuff you're doing?
What a great question. I listen to poetry, and that really keeps me sane every day. I listen to some poetry or I read some poetry. I also love music. And our city, Tacoma, is gorgeous. A lot of beautiful parks. So I keep very close to nature. And I would say one of the other thing that has been surprisingly amazing is listening to birds. I think lots of us miss out on that. Just sit under the tree and try to listen to some bird and see what happens to your life.
Are you able to like know the type of bird it is based on what you hear?
No,
You're not there yet.
no, not there yet. I have just started reading a couple of books on birds, but it doesn't really matter. I think just listening to birds and just watching them, their movement. If you ever look at hummingbird, just look at them for a minute.
Oh man, they're so fast.
They are so fast and so precise, and just something happens to you. It really keeps you sane, and it really something to your mental health.
And you're also like an avid bike rider, aren't you? I thought I saw a
Uh,
post you like you ride a bike around your neighborhood every day or
a little
something.
bit. I'm not a expert of biking, but I do bike.
Okay.
I have bikes. I have some friends who are fond of biking, so I hang out with them and ride around.
And do you have a favorite poet that you?
Oh, I have many favorite poets. A lot of them are in India, where I grew up. But it really, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that you engage in poetry and see how words come together and they describe. And one of the most fascinating things about poetry is that perhaps it's the only uh, form of art that squeezes and summarizes centuries into two lines. We spend 5 years, 10 years to do PhD to learn about a field. Poets can do that in two lines, two verses, one paragraph, sometimes just two or three words put together, and that is an art in itself. And it's
What's amazing me, like, you have these poets for like back in the 1400s, 1500s that we still listen to it, or not listen, but like no still read, right?
mm-hmm.
And I think, man, do these poets have any idea the impact they would have like hundreds of years later, right? Some random dude in India or England or wherever case, like writing these words down, thinking to themselves, he's probably saying, man, I need to make some money today, right? But
Yeah.
like literally a century later, people still read what they wrote.
Yeah, because they have universal truth. That's one of the other thing. Poets are social scientists. They know societies. They know human beings. They know how human mind works, how connection people work. They are very good at it. These are some of the core skills. It's hard to become a poet if you don't understand humans. It's very hard to become human poet if you don't understand how societies work, how change happens. These are the very core of becoming a poet. and poets speak universal language. It doesn't matter where they
Yeah,
are.
I don't know if he's a poet, but I'm a big fan of Voltaire from France back in the day. I really like his stuff. Like, say, I studied him in college, so I'm a big fan of Voltaire.
Hmm.
Do you have a favorite one?
I have many.
Many.
Iqbal is one of my favorites
Okay.
in India, but I also like Bashir Badr. I love Rumi.
Rumi, okay, I know
Rumi
that
is
name.
amazing. I think Rumi is very well known here in the West, in the Western culture, but there are many other that my father used to read, my mom used to read, recite these poets. They are not very well known.
Yeah.
Iqbal, Bashir Badr. I love Mirza Ghalib, who writes a lot about life and romance and the intersection of life and romance.
Do you know like any kind of difference between American poets and Indian poets, or is poetry poetry?
Uh, I think their approach to life is very different because of the culture. India, for example, is a highly collective culture. People live together, they share things together, um, and a lot of things are just given to them as part of their life. It just comes with it. You know, you have a lot of social support because you live in big families. It's a big country, so it's very
Yeah.
populated. So you're born with this idea of human connections by default. So you see a lot of celebration of that in the poetry coming out of India or South Asia, whereas here you see a lot of poetry around nature, solitude,
Yeah.
and idea of friendship.
Mhm.
You know, it's very well articulated because it's very intentional. You don't get friends by default. You know, you have to make friends.
Yeah.
To go
You have to
connect
make
with
an
them.
effort.
You need effort
Yeah.
because the culture is such that you need a lot of effort, and there is a very clear intentionality and processes to have good friends. Whereas in collective culture, friends are all over you, left, right, and center. You interact so much, and because the cities are big, there's so many people. You just by default become friends, and it's not something that you think a lot about. Only when you move away, like I did. That's one of the things that immigrants very quickly realize when they move away from collective cultures and come to individualistic culture like the US. You realize how much was there, how the richness in your immediate environment. You miss it so much in terms of food, in terms of just the sounds. You
Yeah.
know, you go to Delhi where I grew up, 33 million people. At any given point of time, you are listening to 50 sounds. You're talking to somebody, but you're also listening to birds. Some dog is barking. There is traffic. Somebody's talking. There are 5, 6 conversations that you're exposed to, and sound system that you're exposed to. Here, suddenly you come in a very silent space. Like you and I are talking, I can't hear anything. I know this is a studio, this is exceptionally quiet, but otherwise, if you walk down the street, you hear very similar sounds. It doesn't matter whether you are in Dallas or you're in Seattle or you're in New York City. The sounds are very standardized. Whereas where I grew up, you go away from one place to another place, which is let's say 5 miles away. Suddenly, the taste of the water changes, the food changes, people look differently, people wear different clothing. Um, Also, the sound changes, dramatically. It's completely different exposure.
So, what's something about India that you wish more Americans knew about?
Say that again.
What's something about India that you wish more people knew about?
That most people
That
I thought
that you
they
wish
knew.
that you wish more people knew.
I wish more people knew about India. Uh, well, there are many things. I think there are a lot of things that people think is all India about: yoga, spirituality, temples, Taj Mahal. These are very well known, but I think one thing that people don't know India about is the the amount of investment, emotional investment that people put in their relationship, how far they go just to take care of their near and dear ones. Also, because it is very collective culture, the amount of time and energy and social capital that you invest in different phases of your life. So if I have let's say a 5-year-old niece, a 6-year-old nephew, there are certain level of investment that I do for that person. When I go to India, I spend time with them, go hang out with them, take them on a bike ride, take them on a train ride. But my parents, for example, my mom, she's in her late 80s. The kind of connection we have for her, just to make sure that she doesn't feel lonely, that she doesn't feel vulnerable, that she doesn't feel like there's nobody to take care of her. The amount of stuff we put in just to make sure that she doesn't feel that. I think most people don't really recognize that in collective culture overall, but specifically about India.